All right, let's start the week off. Kiprios Justin Bourne in for our traveling Sammy Disco Dan Franceschi.
Yele, what's up, brother?
Fellas, I am doing good.
What's
Great to
going
be
on?
here. All's well. All's well. I'm grateful to be in this seat filling in for Sammy while he's enjoying
love having
Detroit,
you, man.
Michigan.
Is it true that you paid completely Sammy's weekend from Oshawa Junior A Hockey Friday,
Just to get him out of
the
here.
Leafs game, Detroit, and then the Bills game Sunday, so you can get this seat on Monday? Is that true?
No, let me tell you why that's false, Kipper. Because if it was me and I had disposable income of that nature, I'd be the one going to the Lions-Bills game as a Bills fan to go sit there and watch Josh Allen carve up the Lions. That
No
would have been my
kidding.
choice.
Well, you are a Bills guy, but if you keep doing the prep work for a show this good, you may be getting Sam's money anyway soon.
What a
so-
lineup.
Holy smokes.
What? Wow.
Sam hates it. I love it.
Yeah, I know he does. I know it irks him. I know.
Sammy, if you're on your way on the 401, keep going. Keep going. Go.
Carry on to
Keep
wherever
going.
you're
Go all the
headed.
way to Cornwall, buddy. We're good. We're good here.
We kid. We miss you, pal.
The rest
Yep.
is in place, including Derek Brandale and Frank the Tank. He's in as well.
Awesome.
So we're off and running here on this Monday as we take it towards a Christmas break. And I don't know if you guys were watching the games closely enough to say, okay, it's not the best hockey in the world that we're seeing out of the Leafs
No.
for Friday and Sunday. Is it what?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday.
Back to back.
And just maybe all these games back to backs are kind of catching up with them. I know we're going to get into the specifics of what we saw in Detroit and then back home against the Buffalo Sabres on a rare 5 o'clock start. But I'm watching this hockey, and it's not compelling hockey, and it might have a lot to do with all these crammed games.
Yeah, I've said this before in the past week or two, but like the lull in the Leafs play seems to be coinciding with bad opponents. So you're getting a combination of still getting points in games where they don't play great, but also some of the games are pretty rough. I know Sammy was at that Detroit game. At least the Buffalo game, there was goals and a comeback and Tavares hat trick. The Detroit game, that was a tough slog, I'll be honest.
I would also say it's a product, and you alluded to it, Kipper, but 4 back-to-backs in the span of 22 days. All engulfed around a Christmas holiday break.
Yeah.
There's the trade freeze mixed in there. Like, that's tough. That's tough, especially after they had a stretch of 2 weeks where they only played 4 games.
Yeah.
It's to be expected, I would imagine.
Well, I've done enough of these Christmas breaks where it's like one eye on the puck, the other one on flights home
Yeah.
and gifts and who's coming in, who's leaving,
Yeah.
when do they come in, what's going on.
And it's like, all right, honey, I got to go to the games. I got to be at the game. Like, I got to go.
It does happen. It does happen. But we won't completely take them off the hook either
No.
because there's some things that you liked and some things that you didn't
Yeah.
this past weekend.
Obviously, first weekend without Anthony Stolarz of the year. He'll be getting the start in Buffalo. We can get to the Buffalo game specifically. Any greater takeaways for you from the 2 games that stood out? I know it felt like the offense was once again kind of not there against Detroit, but they did end up putting up 4 in an empty net of the Buffalo game. So
Yeah, I think you got to take that game against Buffalo with a grain of salt too, because if they're not the worst team in the league, they are really close.
10 straight games without a win for the
And
Sabres.
I know Detroit has battled consistency, but
That's nice.
that's just a better team than Buffalo, is it not?
It's a better team than Buffalo. It's still a bad team.
Yeah.
The ceiling for the Red Wings is like what they are, basically. Like, where are they going to get better? I don't know.
I mean, the Leafs lost to a goalie, Ville Husso, that hadn't won a game in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's a calendar year. Last December, he picks up a win on Saturday. And then yesterday, it's Devin Levi in the net, who had just been recalled.
Yeah.
So, again, I mean, yeah, the offense was nice yesterday, but at the same time, looking between the pipes and realizing, A, who's in goal and the team they're playing against, at times leaves a little bit to be desired. That's for sure.
Yeah, expected a little more. And then even against Anaheim, not a great defensive team. They haven't,
Yeah.
but I don't know. There are pieces of this that feel like it's coming together. McMahon coming back changes their look for me. they get that depth going and have had a depth line with Domi and Robertson too against Buffalo. So anyway.
In about 30 minutes, we're going to welcome in Gord Stellick, who's been a regular contributor here. Does a terrific job, so we'll look forward to that. And Jason York at the top of the hour as well. We'll talk a little Ottawa Senators. They're hot. Rangers are not. Is that the team?
Such a disaster.
Is that the team that takes a wild card spot away from them?
I don't know if the Rangers are ever going to win again. They're such a mess, Kip. Like Arthur Staple, their beat writer, is tweeting about, like, I don't know who's gone next, but someone got to go.
Well, wherever you are watching and listening, Sportsnet 590, The Fan, Sportsnet 360, and Sportsnet Plus from 4 to 6. We're glad you're aboard as we get into the Leafs and Buffalo last night. Let's go to our first Kippers Clipper of the week, Craig Berube, on his overview of the Leaf performance.
You know, we had good intentions in the first period. Take a penalty. I mean, first shift when we get behind. But, you know, I thought after first 7 minutes, I thought we started to take over, and I thought we started to really get going. Guys battled hard. I mean, we got all lines. I thought everybody was solid tonight, worked hard, competed hard, did a lot of good things, stayed with it. You know, and it was a great third period. When you got a lead by 1 goal and you go out there and just check and don't give them much, and we had opportunities, couple power play or 2 power plays. And, so it was really good. I thought our leaders stepped up and really did a good job tonight.
When that first, Jack, was it Quinn shot the first one in?
Yep.
Followed by
Short
Tuck
side.
shooting it in short side. The Quinn one stunk. Like, yeah, it stunk. Just a clean wrist shot from the...
And we are not used to seeing just stunk goals.
Genuinely jarring. Genuinely like, so did it get tipped or like what? He just shot it in? Like the processing of, wait, he just shot it in. That was shocking. So 3 minutes into the game, were you having a moment, were you catastrophizing the season like I was at that point? I was like, this is
the only thing
disastrous.
that's kind of played into thinking like this wasn't going to be one of those nights is that they haven't had one of those nights.
What's that, where they just get blown out?
Or it's like everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Are they due for one? But I just don't know the way they play, and they clog up and they don't give much every third period. It's hard for teams to get to the net.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it'll eventually turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was okay with that, but yeah, it's noticeable when those goals go in that you go, I haven't seen those all year.
No. And my thought process was just like, okay, if Hildeby is Kaskasuo and we can't trust putting him in and he can't go in, what do you do then? You know, can you lean on Wall heavy? And what if the workload gets to him and he's hurt, and all of a sudden at the end of the day, Hildeby's given up 3 goals on like 30 shots and was pretty solid. Ended up being all right, but that was a pretty rocky start there.
It makes you appreciate good goaltending.
It sure does.
That's what it does. It makes you appreciate the fact that in every Anthony Stolarz start, you haven't seen one like really bad egregious goal.
No.
And that was a staple for the Leafs. It was always like guaranteed 1 or 2 every so often that look really, really bad.
Yeah.
And then it puts you behind the 8 ball. But that was a reminder of what you lost with Stolarz not being available, Joseph Wall being in the position he's in, and now playing all these back-to-backs. You need somebody else. Hildeby isn't the guy right now. Heck, who knows what's going on with Matt Murray and if he's going to be healthy at some point over the next month, because he just got hurt a week ago. But that's where you're at. You're searching for stability right now.
But also, the goalie took a shot at the empty net.
That was fun. Yeah, that was great.
Kip,
Now,
before
were they just down a goal at that point?
it was just 4-3.
It was just 4-3.
But, I mean, it looked like a pretty good spot. What was your reaction to that?
Well, first of all,
I think it was
a
just
guy
4-3.
like
Might have been
that
5-3.
would have spent his whole life thinking about that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what year exactly Ron Hextall did it for the first time, shooting a puck into the net. But
70s,
since
80s.
then, I imagine that every goalie that first put on pads that is lucky enough to get to the NHL level would somehow, some way, constantly be thinking about that or quietly working on that
Yeah.
from the day he started. So
It's the Michigan. It's the Michigan.
is-
Everyone wants to hit
this
it
is
if they can.
20
The spot arrives.
well over 20 years that a goalie has now visualized himself doing that. And to your point, the puck came to Hildeby. It was the perfect storm. He had time to turn, set,
get his shoulders down ice. And if you shoot it good like he did, that it's just a clear, and that's fine. But if you fan on
think
it,
about like
instead of a fixed dollar amount. This could result in Marner's cap hit exceeding Matthews' $13.25 million, conflicting with the Leafs' new financial strategy. Ferris is known for driving negotiations to the limit, often taking his clients to free agency. This raises fears that discussions between Marner and the Leafs could drag on until July 1st, giving Marner and his camp all the leverage in negotiations. Another complicating factor is the rising market. LeBrun noted that Mikko Rantanen believes he could secure $14 million per season as a free agent. This sparks the question, could Marner demand even more? And would Ferris take that gamble, knowing the Leafs might opt to move on and sign another player? Marner has made it clear on multiple occasions that Toronto is where he wants to be. As a local player with deep ties to the city, he's expressed his desire to spend his entire career wearing the blue and white of the Leafs. However, staying with the team may require him to accept less than market value, especially if the front office remains committed to its new salary structure. Such a sacrifice could be vital for the team's collective success and to avoid financial issues that have plagued the recent past. While negotiations are still in the early stages, it's evident that Marner's future with the Leafs is at stake. Maple Leafs fans may need to prepare for the possibility of significant changes, but they can also trust in the player's commitment to the city and the franchise to find a compromise. The Maple Leafs' decision to implement an internal salary cap reflects a broader shift in their team-building philosophy. After years of prioritizing top-end talent with hefty contracts, the organization appears determined to strike a balance between superstar contracts and depth throughout the roster. This strategy aims to avoid the pitfalls of past seasons, where a lack of financial flexibility often left the team vulnerable in critical playoff moments. For Mitch Marner, this shift creates a unique challenge. On one hand, his value to the Leafs is undeniable. A consistent top scorer and elite playmaker, Marner has been instrumental in driving the team's offense. On the other hand, his ability to command a salary that rivals or exceeds Auston Matthews could put the Leafs in a difficult position, especially with a potential need to strengthen other areas of the roster. As the 2023-24 season progresses, the Leafs must weigh the potential consequences of sticking to their cap philosophy. Losing a homegrown talent like Marner would undoubtedly sting for fans and the organization alike. However, allowing one player to dictate financial terms beyond the team's structure could hinder long-term success and force painful sacrifices elsewhere. Adding to the complexity is the looming free agency of William Nylander. If the Leafs are to stick to their internal salary cap, they may also face challenges in retaining Nylander, who could command a significant raise. Balancing contracts for both Marner and Nylander within the new framework could prove to be the ultimate test for Toronto's management team. Another factor at play is the team's ultimate goal, winning the Stanley Cup. While star players like Marner and Matthews are crucial, history has shown that depth and balanced rosters often prevail in the postseason. If the Leafs fail to manage their finances effectively, they risk falling short of building a championship-caliber team, even with elite talent. For Marner, the decision to stay with the Leafs might come down to more than just dollars. His connection to the city, the fans, and his teammates could be deciding factors. If he prioritizes legacy and loyalty over maximizing earnings, there's a strong possibility that he'll work with the team to find a deal that benefits both parties. Negotiations will also test Darren Ferris, known for his hardline tactics in securing lucrative deals for his clients. While pushing for top dollar is expected, Ferris may need to weigh the risks of alienating the Leafs management and fanbase. A prolonged stalemate could damage Marner's relationship with the team and its supporters. The Leafs management, led by general manager Brad Treliving, faces a pivotal moment. Treliving's reputation as a negotiator and team builder will be on full display as he navigates this high-stakes scenario. Striking the right balance could solidify his tenure in Toronto, while a misstep might set the team back for years. For Maple Leafs fans, the coming months will be filled with anticipation and uncertainty. Marner's future, along with the team's ability to stay competitive under financial constraints, will likely dominate conversations as the season unfolds. Supporters can only hope that the team's new approach leads to greater playoff success and, ultimately, the elusive championship. In the end, the outcome of these negotiations could redefine the Maple Leafs' identity for years to come. Whether it results in retaining Marner or reshaping the roster, the team's commitment to an internal salary cap signals a clear focus on long-term sustainability. Fans will be watching closely, hoping for a resolution that keeps the team's core intact and their championship dreams alive. As the negotiations with Mitch Marner progress, another layer of complexity is added by the external competition in the NHL market. Teams with more cap space and fewer restrictions could easily present lucrative offers to Marner if he reaches free agency. The Leafs are not only negotiating with Marner but also indirectly competing with other franchises willing to outbid them for his services. One example of this is Mikko Rantanen, whose potential $14 million value on the open market highlights the growing demand for elite wingers. If Rantanen secures such a deal, it could set a precedent that Marner's camp would use as leverage. The Leafs, however, must remain disciplined, as breaking their internal salary cap for Marner could lead to similar demands from other key players down the line. The looming specter of free agency means the Leafs have a limited window to strike a deal. If negotiations drag on into the off-season, the leverage shifts heavily in favor of Marner and his agent. Darren Ferris, known for his strategic patience, could use this to push for maximum value, putting even greater pressure on the Leafs management to make a decision. This scenario also places significant pressure on head coach Sheldon Keefe. Managing a team amid ongoing contract uncertainty can disrupt chemistry and focus. Keefe will need to ensure that the team remains united and focused on their performance, even as the media and fans speculate about Marner's future. Meanwhile, the Leafs core group, including Auston Matthews, Morgan Rielly, and John Tavares, will likely play a role in influencing Marner's decision. The camaraderie among the players and their collective drive for a championship could persuade Marner to accept a deal that aligns with the team's financial structure. On the flip side, the Leafs could explore contingency plans if a deal with Marner doesn't materialize. Trading Marner would be a bold move, but it could bring significant assets in return, potentially bolstering the team in areas like defense or secondary scoring. This option, while unpopular with fans, might be necessary to maintain roster balance. The timing of these decisions is also critical. With the trade deadline months away, the Leafs must assess whether keeping Marner without an extension risks losing him for nothing in free agency. A preemptive trade could avoid this scenario, but it would also signal a significant shift in the team's short-term goals. Fan sentiment will undoubtedly influence the team's approach. Marner is not just an exceptional player, he's a fan favorite and a symbol of homegrown talent succeeding in Toronto. Losing him could lead to backlash, especially if the team struggles in the aftermath of his departure. The broader NHL landscape also plays a role. As other teams navigate their own salary cap challenges, the Leafs can learn from their successes and failures. Organizations like the Tampa Bay Lightning and Vegas Golden Knights have shown the value of balancing star power with depth, offering a potential blueprint for Toronto's future.